I think the congressional races, if you look at the start of last year to where we are today, Republicans have made a remarkable comeback in their prospects. I wouldn't have given them much hope at all coming into the 2022 midterms a year ago, but they're well poised this year to, I think, exceed the average gains parties can expect in a midterm election. Michigan, I think, it's not going to be as good a year for Republicans overall as it will be in the rest of the nation. They just don't have a slate of candidates to match up against incumbents.
Stephen, what about you? What are you watching?
I am absolutely fascinated by the new lines here in Michigan, of course, and what they mean, what they won't mean, and who will even try to run for these seats. Some of them look so different.
Yeah, what are you hearing right now?
You know, I think we're going to have a lot of new candidates. I think we're going to have a lot of people who sat out for a long time thinking, well, I don't really understand what that district is that I would be running in, who have a clearer picture. You know, we also will have, of course, one fewer person in Congress. I think on the national level, I think it's really early to be saying the things that Republicans are saying about their prospects in November. If you look at what was happening toward the end of the year, the president's poll numbers started to bounce back up just a little.
One thing I think that we can all agree on is the amount of money that is going to be thrown around the country. And it feels like, Nolan, every year we say, it's the most money that's been spent in an election year.
And it'll be, again, the most expensive race in history in Michigan. Governor's already starting out with $10.4 million. She's already got more money raised than races used to cost for the whole session, and she's not done yet. The congressional races are going to draw in a ton of money, as are the legislative races, because of the new boundaries and new people running in both parties. James Craig, a candidate I like and supported his entry into the campaign, hasn't caught fire. I don't think the Republicans have a good Secretary of State's candidate against a candidate who should be vulnerable based on the long lines people have experienced in Michigan since she took office. They've got a better attorney general candidate in Tom Leonard. I think he's got a good chance, but you know, those races tend to go like the top of the ticket goes. And I think it's going to be a struggle for them here.
So, I mean, the money always grows, right? Like Nolan said, this will be the most expensive governor's race. But the last one was the most expensive, and the one before that was too. And that's just the direction we're headed. That you know, in order to compete in these races, you have to raise ridiculous amounts of money, and that's because the rules allow it. And so that's the game. And I'm not mad at Governor Whitmer, you know, the Democrats for playing that game effectively. I mean, historically, at least, they were not as good at it as Republicans. And that is because there's not a great candidate. James Craig, look, whatever you think of him personally, this is not a guy with any sort of record to recommend him to be the governor. Meanwhile, the governor will be continuing to just, you know, stockpile money, and she'll be able to run on a record. I think Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is probably more unbeatable than the governor. Dana Nessel could be vulnerable against the right candidate. I don't know that Tom Leonard is that person.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Appreciate the insight, gentlemen, and I will see you soon.